if you're an entrepreneur, you've probably encountered a situation where you're trying to get a loan and you're like, what the hell? I have enough cash, I have the business income, yet I can't qualify for a loan, right? Like that's happened to me. It's happened to countless entrepreneurs I know. And it's one of the biggest pain points I hear when I speak with my friends, my peers, and my clients who are business owners, because most loan officers and most underwriters only know how to work with W-2 income and a pay stub. So I'm so excited today to introduce y'all to my lender, Charlene Ruiz. She's a dear friend of mine and my lender, and she's helped me personally get an investment property loan when other lenders, two other lenders actually, let me tell you, could not get it done. And also one of our dear mutual friends who is a local business owner who couldn't get her loan done, she was able to successfully do it. And we're going to chat about entrepreneur and investor friendly loans. They're considered non-QM loans, basically.
Correct. Non-qualifying mortgages, which means that you're not your traditional type of loan. Your basic loans, which you go to your B of A, Chase, Citibank, where it's, pretty much income, credit, assets, loan. Non-QM is a totally different game, and it's geared towards your self-employed entrepreneur buyer and investor. Yeah, we have several different types of non-QM loan options. And one of the most well-known ones, I should say here, especially in Las Vegas, is your self-employed bank statement loans, which uses your income deposits uses your deposits as income from your bank statements, which is an excellent option for those who actually do deposit their money in the bank every month. Some people don't. We also have asset depletion loans, which this one's actually a really, really good option for those who don't really show a whole lot of income, but have a lot of assets that we can use towards that purchase. And I'm just going to name a couple, and we can dive a little bit deeper into that if you like. And we also have a DSCR. This is specifically for investment property purchases. That's it. And what this does is it allows you to qualify based upon the details of the property and the income. And it really gives you an idea of how to assess for your own personal understanding of how you're going to make your money. And it helps us help you with that there as well. There's many different types portfolio. I mean, we can go on and on and on. And I'm your girl for that. I'm happy to help with any type of non-traditional lending.
Yeah. And I love the DSCR loans because I come from the commercial real estate world. And as a commercial real estate broker and investor, and I'm very familiar with DSCR loans. For those who aren't, it's a debt service coverage ratio loan. So basically the loan is qualified based on the investment property's ability to cover the loan, the NOI. And that's something that I never heard of or seen in like residential real estate, residential investing until I met Charlene.
It's a great product. Yes.
Residential lenders, most residential agents have never heard of a DSCR loan and don't understand it. So like, can you talk a little bit about that? Like,
it's actually one of my favorite things to do, especially right now. And believe it or not, the rates on that type of loan are not bad at all. It's far better than getting a private money loan, portfolio lending, etc. Basically, your income comes from whatever the rental income is going to derive from that property. Don't need to know anything about any other income sources you may have. Everything specific to that property. So whatever property you're purchasing, there's a formula that we follow, and we base it upon that. And here you go, Mr. Investor, you got yourself a home to buy, to rent out and make some more money off of that. So it's really simple. I mean, there are some requirements, meaning have a credit score, of course, although we do offer this for foreign nationals, believe it or not. And we actually do have an I-10 coming out for this, believe it or not. Yes, for investment purchases.
Wait, so the DSCR?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yes, they're working. We don't have that yet, but this is something that's in the works now. And the foreign nationals, it's full-fledged. It is.
Yeah, because I think I've told you before, I'm part of Entrepreneurs Organization, global organization of entrepreneurs. But a lot of them are not based in the U.S., so it's good to know that they can qualify.
Absolutely.
If they want to invest here.
Absolutely. I'm not too sure what it's like on the commercial side in comparison to our side, but is it pretty similar with the two types of loans? Would you say more or less?
On the commercial side, if you're talking about investment property, it's completely DSCR based. But if you're talking about like owner-user, then there's SBA loans and other types of like owner-user loans where it's based on the business income.
Got
qualify.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
And in our end, the residential property is the business that we use to qualify.
Yeah, and
so
that's
that
how
would
the
be
investment property loans
Correct.
work on the commercial side too.
Yeah, so it's a great program.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to offer that. I have some great turnout, some great examples to share on that product in itself. And also back to the asset depletion loan. This is, I feel, is one of my favorites too, because we do have a lot of entrepreneurs, investors, self-employed that do have a lot of assets, right? But they just really don't show they make a whole lot of income.
You got to get all those tax deductions.
Yes.
They're all legal.
Yes.
But you need to get those tax deductions. So.
Absolutely. Why not? That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
You give me a bone, I'll take it. Why not, right?
Exactly.
It's how we do business. But it's a really good product. And there's a lot of folks that, you know, to Kathy's point, that take every incentive they can on their taxes. They live a very well life. They have great reserves, great assets, and they just want to buy property. They don't want to go down the, you know, private money route when they can have a property of their own under their own name. So that's a great option as well.
Yeah.
Bank statement loans, again, as mentioned earlier, we have different options for that. Business owners, we use your business bank statements. We can also use personal bank statements depending on the type of industry you're in. We have a lot of tipped employees here if you're looking at that as an employee that earns income that way. And you're entrepreneur, self-employed, 1099, this is a great option for you as well. There's just so many. The list goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah. But the top three for investors and entrepreneurs, you would say, are
the DSCR.
DSCR, if they're looking at an investment property.
Yes.
The bank statement loan can be either investment or personal.
Absolutely.
Or, okay. That's good to know. So the bank statement loans as an entrepreneur I used a bank statement loan personally when I acquired my investment property. And then the asset depletion, is that investment or
it's either or
primary residence?
Absolutely. And for a national. So so if you are not a US citizen and you come from another country, we can lend to you as well. Everything has its own set of rules, but it's definitely an option for you.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yes, I know. Anything specific you want to ask me about them?
Yeah, so in terms of like rates, I know rates are always changing, they're up and down, right? But generally, like, are these types of loans 1 basis point above what a standard conventional loan is? Or is it like, you know, what's the differential? And
it is a bit higher because it's a different type of risk factor when we're lending against that there. So, you know, as a licensed loan officer, we aren't supposed to, you know, rate quote.
Yeah, not the exact rate, but kind of like a range or a spread.
Sure, I would say maybe 1.5 to 2 points higher, depending on, again, the individual. Sometimes, believe it or not, I found DSCR rates better than if they could go conventional. So we default to that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it really depends on the investor, and there's a larger pool for that on the investor side. You can't go to your Bank of America, Citibank, Chase, and get a loan like this. This is specific. So it's a really it's designed. It's a creative financing option. So it really is important to work with someone that knows what they're doing, so that they can put the package together and make sure that that approval is given to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an excellent loan. I love it. I do.
I do too. I'm so glad that the DSCR loan is available for residential investment properties now, though.
Yes.
Because that's one of the biggest things. Like I said, I have a lot of friends, clients that are entrepreneurs, and they're like, I need to buy this investment property, but I can't qualify because my debt to income ratio on my personal income is so high because I already have this many investment properties. So, and
that's okay. And here's another good thing is you can refinance cash out on these as well as a DSCR.
Oh,
so
wow.
yes. So there's a lot of in any of the categories, you can refinance your investment property with that as well. So if you have equity and you want to access that to buy more investment properties, we can help you with that as well.
So is that like, can you talk a little bit more? Is it like the portfolio loans or is it individual properties? I've heard that you can do like the portfolio loans on a few investments.
I'm speaking individual properties in this conversation. Portfolios go into a whole nother. Yeah, it's a little bit more in depth, and it's very, it takes a little bit longer and more information when you're combining multiple properties into one. But for the sake of this video today, I would say it's more towards the other side of that.
So if they have like a property, they've owned it for a few years, they want to cash out, refi, and they might not qualify based on a conventional loan, but they can qualify based on DSCR, based on asset depletion, based on the
absolutely. Great. And just think of everything as a risk, right? The higher the risk, the higher the cost, right? The lower the risk, the better the opportunity, and that's just with anything. So if you want to put more money down, you can. There's a minimum requirement, or if you don't want to put anything higher than what you have, that's fine as well.
And what are the down payment requirements for all these? Are they 20, 25%?
Yeah, 20, 25%. We do have some bank statement options that are below 20, 25%. And that's subjective to the individual's criteria, but we have different ones. And sometimes it's not always the best option to choose a lesser of the down payment, but it is an option for those who don't have more.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the time period? Is it like a regular loan, like
Just
30
like
days?
Yes.
Or okay.
Absolutely. Portfolios take a little bit longer,
Yeah. Okay.
but these are what we call investor traditional lending in my world anyways. They're not your traditional lending, but they're investor traditional for me.
Do you have any stories that you can share? Like, obviously withholding confidential information, you know, kind of like how I experienced that, where it's like, I went to 2 different lenders and they're like, we can't get this done. And then I was like, Charlene, I am in escrow for this investment property. Like, I don't know what to do. And you got it done. So
it happens all the time, believe it or not, Kathy. You know, again, it does help to have someone that's seasoned in the business and understands the program. And I'm one that if I don't have an answer, I'm going to find it, because I know that everything's got a gray line to it, especially when it comes to financing investment properties or with investors, because there's multiple ways to look at it. But let's see here. My most recent story, let's say my most recent DSCR closing was he actually got a interest rate that was 1% less than what conventional was offering him.
Wow.
And he did qualify, but I just said, let's look at it this way too. Let's see the 2 different options. And DSCR, because it's a different type of loan and the way that it's performed is different than your conventional, which is influenced in the market right now. It's specific. So the rates do vary on that. And so his rate, I believe we closed him at about 7.25%. And the market was about almost 8% on a regular type of loan for him with the investor loan. I know.
That's good to
It was
know.
great.
Yeah, that's really great.
He was so happy, and his rent income is great. It was, especially in Las Vegas, where our rental market's increasing constantly. It's healthy for us to look at it that way. There are challenges sometimes, which we have to work it through and figure out the numbers to make that particular property work. But in this market, in this time, we're good.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really nice.
That's a huge win for,
like,
for him and for you.
Absolutely. Very
exciting.
exciting.
In today's like interest rate environment, like no one would think so. But it's about being like resourceful and getting creative. And that's what I love about Charlene, and why we're collaborating on this is because she's very entrepreneurial. And I feel like a lot of times I've worked with some loan officers and they're very like, just buy the books. This is all that I can do. This is what I need to see. And that's because they're used to that corporate mentality and corporate grind. But if you're an entrepreneur and investor, you want to work with someone who can be
Everything's
creative.
figure-outable.
Exactly. I love that. Exactly. Everything is figure-outable. You can be resourceful. And so that's great to know.
I'm a true believer that there's a loan for everybody. Everybody, there's an option. It may not be the option you want or prefer at that time, but there's an option. I'll find it for you. Now, again, within reason, of course, if you don't have credit for certain things, and we have to figure that out, and I'll help you through that. But on your average individual, there's always going to be an option, always.
And you said there's also, so they can do cash out refi like on their primary too?
On their primary too.
So if they bought a house 5-10 years ago and they want to cash out, they can use any of these options?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's good to know.
Absolutely, you can. And it's happening a lot right now. A lot of folks have equity in their home, and they're pulling out their equity and acquiring other property and creating their portfolio of real estate to build on their, their assets and their wealth, and creating other ways to build. And it's really exciting, especially in our town. I love Las Vegas, Kathy.
It is. Yeah,
I do.
Great.
I love our city. But I do lend outside of Las Vegas, just so you know that. It's not just here locally. But no, it's really a great loan, and bank statements too. Oftentimes people don't realize that that's even an option. You know,
I didn't know that when I came to you, and I was like, you're like, just give me your business bank statements. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Why not?
And there's ways we can go as low as 6 months of bank statements. It really just depends. And sometimes that's more helpful. It just depends on your deposits.
And then actually one of my good friends was going through that, where I think I actually tried to give him your info. I don't know if he ever connected with you, but he went to 2 or 3 banks, and he has all the assets, but he just sold his business. And so, when you're selling, you don't have necessarily the income coming in, right? And so
I think I remember, someone of that nature, yes. Yeah, but that again, it's a conversation that has to continue forward. Oftentimes, too, a lesson for many is if you don't ask, you don't know, right? Let's have those. Don't assume anything is a no until, until we've pounded the pavement so hard that there really is. It's not a no. It's just a not now.
Exactly.
Or let's do this first and build on it from that way.
It's finding someone who's solution oriented. I think if you're an entrepreneur and investor, you know that it's not about a lack of resources, right? It's about a lack of resourcefulness. That's my favorite Tony Robbins quote. We're both we're connected through the Tony Robbins world, and that's a quote I love, right? If you have the person who is solution oriented and resourceful in your corner, you can get anything done. So yes, if you guys are entrepreneurs or investors and you want to learn more about options and opportunities and solutions when it comes to whether it's your personal or investment property loans, let me know. Best way to find me is probably on Instagram, Kathy Kuo. It's the same as my handle on YouTube. And then Charlene, what's the best way to find you?
You can find me on Instagram as well as s.ruiz, CMPS, or Charlene Ruiz. It'll pop up with that as well. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, and I'm always here to help.
Yeah, just slide in the DMs. I feel like that's always the easiest way in this day and age.
It is, I know.
Because all my contact info is like linked to their YouTube, right? So I've made so many good friends in the DMs.
Yes, social media has done wonders. It really is a great tool.
It's a great way to connect.
Absolutely.
So look forward to seeing you guys soon. If you guys have any comments or questions, comment on this video below, and I will ask Charlene, and we might do a follow-up video FAQ to answer
I would love
any
that.
loan questions that you guys have.
I'm happy to do that. And thank you, Kathy, for putting this together. I appreciate it. Coffee in the park.
Yes.
Beautiful sunny day.
Excuse the sunglasses, but we're outside in the park because we have a resolution to enjoy nature more.
Yes, we must. It fuels us. It gives us more creativity.
Yeah, that article I mentioned to you where it's like, I read this article where it said that most Americans spend less time outdoors than prison inmates. And I was like, that's sad.
Wow, yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah. So here's another one to add to that.
A resolution.
Yeah, folks that are going through different challenges in their life too. Part of the plan is to get them moving. Fitness is a big deal with that too. So you bring sunlight and movement, and
it's good for your psychology. It's good for your physiology and all the things.
And that improves every other area.
And this is good for our mind and development.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Yay. That's so good. Ooh.